everyone, welcome to the Northland Artists Conversation. My name is Mark Kelly, I will be your host. Normally across from me is my co-host Andrew McKenzie. Andrew is not here, unfortunately he's feeling a bit crook. Andrew came down with COVID over the Christmas holidays, and yeah, man, things still kicking around out there. It's not fun for anyone, I can promise you that much. I'm going to flick from this camera to this camera. Man, how's everyone been? You been good? Man, you know, we're in 2023 now. It's great. First month under the belt. Hopefully a bit of sunshine as well. Start of the year was, I think we can all agree, a little bit weird. So, you know, sit back, relax, and enjoy a podcast. Why not? Today's guest is Alan Squires, who is a photographer. Alan is such a cool guy, super laid back and chilled. Really easy to talk with as well, and you know he talks about his time growing up in Auckland a little bit, through to going overseas and just doing an extensive amount of travel. Having a base in London and then just kind of doing 10 years worth of travel and then coming back to New Zealand and how he ended up in Whangarei. He was kind of one of those guys that in the podcast I have a piece of art, a photography. Sorry, I'll try that again. I have a photograph that I purchased from the Batch in town at the town basin, and when I found out that he was going to be on the podcast, I was super excited because I love the photo, and I think it's absolutely amazing. And he captured Matapuri perfectly, and I'll show it during the podcast as well. So make sure you, if you're watching that, make sure you have a look. If not, we will put it up as an image in the Facebook and Instagram post, so you can check it out there. So yeah, man, without further ado, let's sit down and have a conversation with Alan Squires. And then we just start, and it's just kind of real random ass. But does the R5 take the white Canon lenses?
Yes, it does, but you need a modifier.
I need an adapter.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
wow. That was one thing that I remember when I first got into photography. It was always one thing I remember being told. It's like, you ever watch rugby and you see the guys running up and down the sidelines and they've got the white lenses?
Yeah.
That's a Canon. And I was like, wow. Okay, there's a lot of Canons.
Yeah.
There's a lot of pricing. And I think they do one of the world's biggest camera lenses as well, where you buy it and it comes with a tripod. I think it's like $100,000 or something obscene.
Oh, yeah. For the sports guys, I met an Argentinian guy when I was working in hospitality whose goal it was to be on the touchline taking those photos. And he was talking about his sort of first lens that he got was $15,000. I think just...
Is that all?
Just, yeah. Yeah.
First lens.
Yeah.
Most people, it's like a camera and a kit lens.
Well, that's what it is. The secret's in the glass.
It is, yeah, definitely.
So,
glass as opposed to plastic, I guess.
Yeah.
Alan Squires.
Yeah, g'day.
How are you?
I'm good.
Thank you very much for coming in. You are the first official guest in the chair for 2023. So, yeah, indeed.
Well, it's great to be here off the beach and into your amazing place.
Thank you kindly. Yeah. It's nice. We we obviously got through the holidays, and we did some upgrades into the studio as well. So it's quite cool. So you're gonna get all the benefits and the features, which is really cool. But yeah, thank you very much for coming in. Obviously, for people that are watching or listening, we were just talking about photography because you are a photographer by trade, yeah?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Now, I've as someone who does, and we were talking about this before, someone who's always done video, the transition between the two are not as easy as they seem. So let's go right back. These podcasts are always really, really fascinating to learn more about an artist and where they sort of started and came from, and then how their journey was up until where they are now.
Yeah.
So your background is photography now, but was it always the case? What was your creative, I guess, launching pad?
Yeah, I don't know. I come from, I think about this and I get asked about this a lot.
Yeah.
You know, and it is that always that creative kind of spirit, I think, was there.
Yeah.
But maybe it came from a generation or a cohort or, you know, an area where that sort of thing was not really encouraged or thought
right, yeah.
a reasonable sort of option for a career going ahead.
Yes, I know exactly what you're saying.
You know, it was that definitely a frown from your dad.
Yes.
When you told him that you wanted to be an artist. So it was always there. And for example, you know, one of the things, Dad was fantastic and, you know, not a bad guy.
We're not putting dads down at all. Dads are amazing.
No, he was a very cool dad. But in fact, he gave me my first camera.
Did he really?
When I was 5 or 6. He loved photography.
Can you remember what it was?
It was one of those little Hanimex? Was that what it's called?
Yeah, Hanimex, Hanimex cameras, yeah.
The little, I think you could...
They were rectangular ones, and you pop the back open, and you would slide the film in, right? And then you'd close it, and you'd go, photo, and then you'd push the button across to move the film across, yeah?
Yeah.
Wow, a Hanimex camera.
Yeah.
It's amazing you remember that.
I loved them, and they had a little flash on it as well.
Oh, yes.
One of those. Yep. But I used to take that with me everywhere. But then it got to the stage where I think Dad was grumbling about the price of the film, and that's one of the things that really stops you progressing a lot back in the day there, because, you know, even the pros talked about, you know, each time they pressed the thing, it's $1 or $2 or whatever, you know. So
for the younger viewers and listeners at home, or wherever you choose to get your podcasts, before digital cameras there was film, and you know, I remember this because I ran a couple of camera shops. Is you would go to the camera shop and you'd buy your film, and it would be like 18 shots or 24 shots or 36 shots or 12, 24 or 36. You'd load your film into your camera. And then it wasn't one of these things where you're just like, I'm just going to hold the button down until I get one really good photo. It was like, I've got 24 shots. I'm gonna line up the best one.
Yeah.
I'm going to push the button once. Oh, it wasn't that great. I might press it twice. And then you'd have to pay for developing.
Yeah.
And that's where the real expense came in, because if you were to drop it off at like a camera shop, it was like $20.
Yeah.
So it is a buck a photo, and then you get your 6x4s and
go,
oh, that didn't turn out the way I wanted. That was really good.
Yeah, that's that's and then you'd get, from memory as well, you get little stickers on there with little comments from the people that would develop the film sometimes, you know, like overexposed, underexposed.
Oh yeah.
Blurry. And it's like, well, I can see it's blurry. But thanks for that little observation anyway, you know. It was so there were a lot of sort of things kind of put in your way to...
Yeah, little roadblocks and barriers.
Yeah.
So you've obviously got your groovy Hanimex. You're sort of starting to rattle out a few photos. How old are you?
I was only like 5 or 6. I've got photos from a little photo book from when I was 6 years old.
Well, you've kept them.
Yeah.
For all these years. That's amazing.
Yeah.
And then...
Well, you know, it's your dad. You better
yeah.
put him in an album now, you know.
I'm like that with my son. I've got all his artwork from when he started at daycare all the way through. He's off to intermediate this year. So... do you think that's what set you on your path down the photography, or were there other creative things that sort of popped up along the way?
Oh, well, there certainly was, you know, and art was a big thing at school, but again, we went to perhaps, you know, schools that we went to did not encourage, art was not a priority, it was more, you know, sports.
Yeah.
And, you know, what rugby team you're in, or what football team,
cricket team. Yeah.
That was more that kind of, environment, I think, which was fine. I was like, I was pretty handy at some sports as well too. So they were, it's a well-rounded kind of upbringing, childhood.
Did you go to a single sex or a co-ed school?
Yeah, we went to college. I went to Westlake.
Okay,
on
right.
the North Shore.
Yeah.
Which in hindsight was probably not a great idea.
I went to Gisborne Boys High School, all
yeah,
boys.
Right.
Huge focus on rugby and cricket.
Yeah.
2 sports I sucked at. I was good at soccer and badminton.
Yeah. Oh, badminton.
Yeah.
Right.
Badminton.
Yeah.
But I love performing, so and there really wasn't much of that at my school. So I get what you're saying.
Yeah, right on. And it was not, it's that kind of blokey kind of environment as well, where you are often, is it hazing?
Hazing, definitely.
Hazed or whatever under having these kind of interests. So, but nevertheless, I still had the camera, and I was interested in art, and it was just sort of ticked along. It was always there.
Nice.
But sure, I'd say the main thing would be a lot of the stuff was Dad. Dad was in travel. He worked for Air New Zealand.
Oh wow.
And we travelled a lot.
Yeah.
And we were actually based, or he was based in, put in Samoa, out in the islands.
Wow.
Yeah. It was. The next question is, do you remember it? And unfortunately, I don't remember too much.
Well, let me just cross that question off then. You've just asked and answered.
Yeah, I know, but it was maybe from when I was 2 to when I was 6.
Okay, right, yeah. So the real formative young years.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I'm with you.
So we travelled quite a bit, and it was that kind of different environments and different cultures, and things like that was always kind of part of our day-to-day, I think. Yeah.
And I think it's also probably important to recognise that our generation is a very different time as well. Men were men.
Yeah.
You're manly men doing manly things.
Yeah, for sure.
And, creative stuff wasn't really looked upon, as you said, as like a career path.
Yeah.
You went to high school, got university entrance, you went to uni, studied, got a good job. 20, 30 years down the track, you might move up in the company, and then you retire and get your gold pen and all that sort of shit.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm 47, so yeah. That's the sort of stuff I remember.
Yeah, you did have a kind of there was a trajectory there, wasn't there?
Yep, absolutely.
And it was kind of all kind of pretty.
It's all mapped.
Set.
It was mapped out, well in advance. I unfortunately found girls, and that kind of derailed everything for me. Went off the track real fast.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Such is life. I didn't really care.
Yeah.
So you're still doing art at Westlake, and then you finish there, and then do you go study? Do you enter the workforce? Do you of go, man, I wouldn't want this creativity thing?
I couldn't get out of school quick enough, really.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I was out, and I was lucky, Mum worked at the High Court in Auckland.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And she kind of tapped one of the people there and organised me. My first job out of school was at the High Court.
Wow, crazy.
So, but I'd always wanted to sort of travel over, really, because that was in the blood.
Yeah.
I really wanted to get overseas to Europe, but I couldn't really. They wouldn't let me go at 16, so I had to do a couple of years of work.
Yeah, get yourself some life skills.
16 is a little bit too young to be heading to London. But worked at the High Court in Auckland.
Okay.
For a couple of years as a court officer, and you get sort of wrote. That was back in the days where there was no computers really. Everything was done in registers and
books, and then forms with like duplicate and triplicate. Pulling that piece of carbon paper out and then slotting it into the next one.
Oh yeah.
Who doesn't remember those? Well, no, who doesn't remember those days? It's the boomers that are going to remember those days.
Oh, crikey, mate. We had some characters working there, and it was the old court buildings and that sort of stuff. I swear there were like 70, 80-year-old people.
Lifers.
For sure. And all power to that. And
so you did a couple. It
wasn't for me.
No, not for you. So you did a couple of years. Did you end up travelling afterwards? Where'd you go?
Yeah, 19. I went to London.
Yes.
And arrived there in sort of 1990, which was the week, or it was in April, the poll tax riots.
Oh my goodness!
In London, and that's what I kind of arrived into.
Dive straight into that.
Yeah, man. Yeah. It was
welcome to England.
Yeah. Welcome to overseas. So you come from, the little old New Zealand, the North Shore.
Yeah.
And you're arriving to a place where they've got, tanks and army guys cruising around the airports with them, machine guns.
Yeah.
It was all on.
Yeah, it was a crazy time.
I think, I mean, it's a real eye-opener there. And you had things like the IRA setting off bombs and...
Yeah.
It's all sorts of stuff. It is Europe, and Europe's like this now. It's totally in always a commotion, isn't it?
Yeah.
There's always...
constant state of flux.
Yeah,
really. Yeah, definitely. How long, did you sort of have London as your base and then go out? Yeah. Or did you just primarily stick to London?
Yeah. Well, I was there for a while, hey? So I was there for about 10 years.
Oh, wow.
Off and on.
Okay, right, yeah.
Yeah, but we always used that as the base, and we'd come back there after each mission,
Each adventure, yeah.
Each adventure. So, I mean, there were stretches there where I went to the States and worked on the yachts and the super boats there.
Oh, the super yachts.
Yeah,
wow.
Yeah. From Miami up into New York. Did that for a little bit of a stint. Did that.
So you were boat crew?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. That was good fun.
That is really different.
Yeah.
In that 10 years, are you still taking photos?
Yeah.
Or has that dropped off a little bit, or are you still going, I'm doing this job so I can buy this gear because I really want it?
Yeah. I think your focuses were elsewhere. Again, it was never really seen as a genuine sort of career path even then, although I did still have the camera and still used it often.
Right, yeah.
But things would happen, like we went to Spain for went to Pamplona for the running of the bulls, and then
You've done
Spain.
The running of the bulls?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I read about it when I was 15 or 16, an Ernest Hemingway book, and I thought, I think the book's called Fiesta, or the Sun Also Rises.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he talks about
the
bullfights there, and
nice.
I thought, I'm going to do that.
Yeah,
I'm going to do that.
Now that's a hell of an experience.
Yeah.
I think you're the first guest to say that they've done that, so very cool.
Yeah, I've got photos from the running.
Oh,
I took a camera with me.
Did you take photos while you were running?
Yeah.
Brilliant. That's awesome.
At the beginning and at the end.
Yeah,
but not during the middle. Nah.
Yeah, because
you're just running.
I'm running. Let me stop and frame my shots. And now I'm running for my life again.
Yeah. Was it? Not quite. But it was one of those trips because we did the Pamplona a couple of times. Only once did I run, but we did it other times just for the party. For the party. And but travelled sort of through Europe, through France, through Spain and Italy and Greece, and then I got my camera nicked, and 10 rolls of film gone, and that's kind of quietly devastating. You know? You're just like, well,
it'd be like your cell phone getting stolen nowadays.
Yeah,
it's like I've lost a limb.
Yeah,
because a camera's an extension. A photographer is a camera is an extension of the person, right?
Yeah, for sure. And then there was a lot of great memories wrapped up in those films, and you're just like, wow, it's devastating, really.
Yeah.
And those sorts of things have kind of, after that, I didn't take any pictures for a year. I was just like,
oh, wow.
What's the worth of it?
Yeah. I'm going to take these photos, and do you run the risk of it happening again?
Yeah, I know. But you're kind of drawn back to it inevitably. And,
definitely.
And always get the camera. You get the camera back, slowly get the gear back, and it's not it's not cheap exercise. So
no,
but it's always been there as a kind of a hobby, I guess. And
yeah. That's wow. So 10 years you're kind of using London as your base to float around and see the world. Essentially. What brings you back? What brings you to Northland?
Yeah. Well, it's after a while, London's great, the culture's great, and whatnot, but you're really contributing when you're working there to another society, to another country. Yeah, it's not yours. Yeah, and there is that definitely a longing for New Zealand occurs at a certain age, in your 30s. In your 30s, it's sort of your priorities begin to change, and you think, well, actually, there's quite a bit about New Zealand I miss. Yeah, and,
definitely.
I did. I headed back, and during that time, my family they'd moved down to Wanaka.
Lovely area.
Yeah, and my other sister, she was in Dunedin, so I thought, well, perhaps we could give that a go. And,
right.
I was in, and all during this time, I'm in hospitality. I'm working in bars and restaurants and stuff like that. So, you can pretty much work anywhere. Yeah.
And I imagine, that 10 years of touring, hospo would be a great industry to be in, because it's like, and this week I'm in France. I will walk in and see if a bar's got a job.
Yeah. And it was, I mean, we've got work all Germany, Greece, a little bit in Turkey, Australia. Yeah. London, it's easy peasy. But again, I mean, hospitality is a great industry to be in to a certain age. Yeah. And then you've either got to, buy a place or start a place or get a thing going, and that really didn't end up being for me. I prefer, some other challenges.
Yeah, sure.
And hospo's tough. It's a real tough industry to be in.
Yeah, long hours, late hours. Yeah, as well.
It's 24/7, mate. Yeah, and those people work so hard. You really do.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So my family they moved down to Wanaka, so I thought, we'll come back to New Zealand. We'll give that a go.
Cool. Did you go down to Wanaka?
Yeah, yeah. Went down there. I was there for a year or so, and really it wasn't. It wasn't
totally
for me.
Different climate.
Yeah. It's quite cold. It's quite cold down there.
It is. One of my best mates, who's a guitarist, he built a house from scratch down there, and he's like, beautiful. Yeah, it's amazing. I was like, how far away is your nearest supermarket? Hour and a half. It's like, good luck.
yeah, right on. I mean, it is everything there, and as well, I think it is the furthest you can get from the ocean as well in Wanaka. In New Zealand, it's the furthest away from the sea. Oh, okay. And that is something that maybe I did start to miss after a while.
The beach.
Yeah, the beach. Although it's got a spectacular lakes, there's no dolphins.
No.
There's no dolphins or anything in there.
None at all. None at all. And it's funny you say that, and I'll come back to that a bit later. Yeah. So from Wanaka, you migrate north?
Yeah. I decided I wanted to, much to Dad's consternation as well, I decided I wanted to get a degree and get some education and get some answers.
Really?
Yeah, so I went to uni when I was 36.
Yeah. What did you study?
Psychology.
Wow.
Yeah. I thought, we'll make it hard. Yeah. And hopefully we'll get some answers about some stuff.
About some
as
things.
Well. Yeah.
Who am I?
Yeah, what is this? What is this thing all about?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I did that. And another reason the psychology degree appealed was that you've got a very broad, there's 6 or 7 core papers.
Yes.
And then you can do whatever the hell you want.
Okay.
Outside of that. So maybe 15, 16, 17 papers are your own. Yeah. Recon,
So what did you... So you obviously had psychology as a base. What path did you go down?
Yeah, I was interested in quite a philosophy, Asian philosophy, those sort of things.
Okay.
The underpinnings.
Yeah.
What everything's sort of based, even, mathematics is based on a kind of philosophy.
Okay.
If you look at things, science, the way we think about things, it has this. That's what I was interested in. What are the underpinnings?
Yeah.
And that's really interesting stuff once you start looking into it. But it was a bit broader than that too. So not just this kind of esoteric stuff. It was marketing and politics and English. How to write.
Yes.
How do I write an essay?
Yeah. Because you can write, you can throw words down.
Yeah.
But how do you actually structure?
Yeah. How do you write an argument or a thesis so it's a lot of that.
Yeah.
A lot of that stuff.
Northland Artists Conversation are incredibly proud to support the Quarry Arts Centre. Quarry Arts Centre, amazing place, located on Selwyn Ave in Whangarei. Such a wonderfully beautiful venue. They are an art gallery and they have some amazing exhibitions, and they also hold Te Kōwhai Print Trust as well. Another really, really cool artistic endeavour that's done as well. They will have different exhibitions and shows of all different types of medium available as well, and they're such a long-standing venue in the community as well. Highly recommend you checking them out. Fantastic place. Really, really cool to take the kids and family as well. So, Northland Artists Conversation, proud to support the Quarry Arts Centre. So you finish your degree in psychology.
Yeah.
And that's through, what university did you do that through?
Albany. Massey.
Massey. Oh, the satellite campus they have in Albany.
Yeah.
Yep, I know the one.
Yeah.
So did you sort of finish that up and then move into Northland?
I was...
Or were you sort of in Auckland for just a little bit longer?
Yeah, maybe just a little bit longer, but... During that time, during that time at uni, I was, by one of my lecturers there, I was encouraged to get a hobby. We were talking one time about how your work never gives you everything in your life.
Yep, I'd agree with that.
How your wife doesn't give you everything, how your pets don't give you everything. Everybody should have a hobby. And she said, have you got a hobby? Have you got something? And I was like...
And you said, I used to.
Yeah, yeah. I was like, well, at the moment, I'm just studying my ass off, that's all I'm doing. And she was like, well, perhaps you need, So that's when I thought, what would I... And then that's when I sort of picked up the camera again.
Oh,
really.
Wow. How long had it been?
It had been quite a while. And during that time, the digital side of things had begun to really come along. Yeah. And I thought, I might get a little digital camera and see how we go.
Point and shoot one.
Yeah, like those little sure shot little ones that had the zooms on.
Oh, the power shot.
The power shot.
Power shot. Yeah.
That's the one. I thought, grab one of those.
Yeah, nice.
See how we go. And I think it was more or less from the first couple of photos I took, I was just like, oh wow, this is great. This is just what we're after. Yeah. Because from there you can straight away you think, well, I can upload this to the computer. What sort of computer programs are there to edit the film?
Yep, old Photoshop.
And there you go, boom, you're away. And then you think, what about a printer? Can I start printing stuff out too? Yeah. And of course you can. Plug in a printer and then you're up and running. You can really start to. The learning curve is huge. It's quick. You if you're into it, and I just from then on that was what I was going to do. I think. Yeah. When you
made that choice to pick up the camera again, did that reignite that passion?
Yeah, it did. It did. It really did. And it was that first, because you can see that all of those things that we were talking about with the film process that I was talking about that we were frustrated with, and frustrated a lot of people.
Oh yeah, definitely. The limited number of shots, the development costs.
Yeah. The interminable wait, you're waiting for a week or whatever to get your film. But, these sort of things, they've been taken out of the picture and everything's straight away,
Yeah.
And you can see, like, you can take a photo and have a quick look and go, oh, perhaps if I stood over there,
Yeah.
And took it from there or whatever. So your learning curve is pretty quick.
Yeah. Also, having to make the mental leap and really say to yourself, well, I'm not limited by the number of shots I can take.
Yeah.
I can now just hold the button down and just get, and then sort of pick from 200, and out of those 199 I don't like, I can delete them.
Yeah.
I don't need to hang on to them.
Yeah.
You get a lot more creative freedom and flexibility.
Yeah, you do. And that quickly becomes the thing, the editing, and you do get involved in the editing process, which I really enjoyed as well. You can lose days, hours certainly can flash by, in Lightroom and Photoshop. And
yes.
You can,
Yeah, I love Lightroom. I think I started off in Photoshop, and then even back then when I used it, it was just such a massive tool.
Yeah.
And then when Adobe Lightroom came out, it was like, oh, this is brilliant. You can import presets and you just sort of tweak those, and they're really cool. Now I'm going to surprise you for a little bit, if that's okay, if you're all right for a surprise.
Okay. Yeah.
Now, yes, you're a photographer.
Oh. Oh yeah, Matapuri.
Now, I purchased this photograph.
Yeah.
Editor Rocky, is the light reflecting off the plastic? Do I need to adjust it slightly? Down that way, like that. Now this is one of yours, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Now I saw this at the Batch.
Yes.
In the Town Basin.
Uh-huh.
And I'd never been in there before, and I just happened to be having a coffee at one of the very, very lovely cafes they have along there, and I was like, I might just go in and have a look. This was sort of around the time the podcast was kicking off and was a thing. Yeah. And I had a look around, and I was like, man, there's just tons of amazing things. And I saw this hanging on the wall above the door. Yeah. And I was like, oh, that is that's amazing. That was my first thought, is that's amazing. Now, for people watching, this is Marapuri. This is the sunrise.
Yeah.
Sunrise Marapuri.
Yeah.
And it reminded me not only of Marapuri. I love going out there. I love surfing out there. I love taking my son out there. But this also reminded me of Gisborne, of home.
Yeah.
And I promptly parted with my hard-earned cash, and it was the best decision I've made. Is this sort of reminiscent of the style of work that you do?
Yeah, it is. It's funny. Matapuri is a tricky one, and I've been there many times, and that's certainly that's the best shot I've got of Matapuri.
It's absolutely staggering. Now, you people can they still purchase these off your website? Yeah.
Oh, for sure. We've got Alan Squires Gallery.
AlanSquiresGallery.co.nz. Shameless plug. Brilliant. Very cool. Why not?
Yeah.
And
that's great.
And it was so cool because when I saw your name in the booking sheet that Marino had done, I was like, holy shit. I've got an Alan Squires, and I was genuinely so stoked. So these for me, this has been absolutely amazing. It's one of those things that I haven't had it framed properly because I haven't actually found like a really nice frame that will do it justice.
Yeah, right. It's the trick. We call the framers the lords of the manor.
They certainly are. And they are definitely the masters of the realm because man, they know how to make a photo just pop that little bit extra. So how long did it take to get that shot, just out of curiosity?
Well, that's the thing, it's a slow process. It's not quick, and it's to the point, I'll carry the camera with me more often than not.
Yeah.
And it will be just grabbing that moment and or perhaps looking at the weather tomorrow. I mean, there are certain things that you can forecasts, you
Yeah,
know,
sure.
a full tide, a full moon, when the sun comes up and goes
Yep.
down, stuff like that. You can look at. So you're sort of looking at, this might work, these conditions might
Yeah.
work, and then you just put yourself in those conditions, you know.
Was that one of those pre-planned, I have a concept, an idea, I'm going to map it out and then do it, or were you just like, I'm out walking the dog and I've taken my camera up, here's a lovely photo, ka-ching.
There's been the odd one of those, for sure, the odd one where I've gone, and when I had my partner in the car and I said, stop. I want to get out. She says, what are you doing? And I said, I just want to take a photo of, you know. And but most of the stuff is I get a kind of like an image in my head, I guess, that I can't shake, and you're just waiting for the right conditions.
Yeah, and it can be quite a waiting game as well. Yeah,
it is. There's one of the Bream Bay, the Whangarei Heads one I've done, and that's 2 or 3 years of trying.
Wow.
Yeah, and the Matapuri, that one, you know, it's ongoing, you know.
Yeah.
That's the best shot I've got, and it's been 10 years.
Wow.
You know? So it is a kind of a not a waiting game, but you're just trying to move in concert with your environment, you know. You're trying to, as often as possible, to get myself out.
Yeah, because you've got to look at your life and your schedule, and it's like, the weather's going to be amazing today, but I'm down in Masterton.
Yeah.
You know, and that's a bit of a bummer, you know, so you got to try and, it's got to everything has to align quite nicely.
It does. You need to constantly, one of the things I've been doing, for example, is house sits. So I look after people's houses while they're away, their pets and whatnot, but I do it all around Whangarei and Northland,
right?
You know, and that's the idea, is to get yourself into these places that you wouldn't normally be in, but also to be there for a stretch of time, because you never, you know, very rarely do you say, for example, we'll go to Waipu tomorrow, and we'll get a shot there, you know, and you've got one day or a couple of hours. It's not going to work like that. You need to be there for a week, at least, you know. But we are quite blessed with our, you know, our sort of the marine environment, and that it's constantly changing. It's raining in the morning, and it's sunny now, and it's cloudy, and it's, you know.
Well, look, I mean, we've had was it 2 cyclones in the middle of summer?
Yeah.
And I don't know, for people watching or listening, that might have had the Christmas New Year's break.
Yeah.
Bit of a letdown.
Yeah. Yeah, that's great for me. I'm just
great for you.
Yes. Awesome. Bring it on. Yeah, watching them come down on the mat. Yeah. But no, it's, you know, there are, you know, that's the techniques that I kind of use to get those shots, but certainly there's many other ways you can do it. But, you know, for example, a lot of photographers will go to a place and they'll camp out there for days waiting for that right shot.
Wow.
But I just don't have that I don't have that patience that other photographers do have. So there's, you know, more than one way to
skin a cat.
Skin a cat, yeah.
I don't even know where that ever came from.
Yeah.
So speaking of photographers, who are your influences?
Yeah. Well,
where did you sort of get your style, and where did you know, your inspirations? Where does all that come from?
Yeah, well, that's really interesting. I mean, the how I came to be up in Whangarei was that I met a girl from here, and she said, you know, come up and visit Whangarei, and I was like, well, okay.
Sure, why not?
But I was lucky enough to come up here. I came up here the first time in the dark, and woke up in Carry Mountain the next morning.
Wow!
And mate, I was just like, what the hell?
I know.
Is this?
Yeah, definitely. What a way to wake up!
Yeah, I know.
It's amazing.
But I didn't even see Bream Bay or anything like that on the way in. But I mean, just to wake up, you know, Ocean Beach and then up to Tai Tokerau Coast and all that. No, I was just sold. And, from there it was that realising that Whangarei, and really you couldn't find any photos of Mount Manaia or Bream Bay or the Whangarei Heads, or it wasn't really celebrated in a way that you would have expected it to, and that kind of, we thought, someone's got to do it. Someone's got to give it a go.
Exactly. Yeah. Might as well be you.
Might as well be me.
Exactly. Someone's got to start a podcast. Might as well be me.
Exactly. So you just try your best and see how you go.
So your style sort of just developed organically over the years?
But it was like once the decision to take it seriously and we'll give this a go. And you do look around at like what inspired, what are other photographers doing? So straight away you look overseas, what are they doing in Europe? What are they doing in America? What are they doing here? And there was everybody, it seemed to me, was doing pretty much the same thing.
Okay,
and it all looked pretty similar to me. Until I got to, and it was the darndest thing, Lawrence Aberhart, and he's actually from Northland, and he's a very well regarded photographer, and once I saw his work, I was like, oh wow, it's just completely different from anything else that you kind of see, and you think, well, I can do. You're allowed to do this. It was that kind of moment where he does this really. Or he's very famous for having photographed, I think, most of the churches around Northland.
Okay. Yep.
If not New Zealand, please forgive me if
you're listening. We apologise in advance.
Sorry, Lawrence. But I mean, I'm very famous for having done that, and. But he's done the landscapes as well, which was very stark, moody, black and white images, and they were a real inspiration for me. I thought, perhaps we could do something like
move something into that, but sort of, make it your own, put your own unique. Because I mean, I think we all view the world through a very different lens. Yeah, and as a photographer, you have the very fortunate ability to be able to capture that. And, it's funny because every photographer, you could have 3 photographers standing in a line, all photographing the same thing, and will all come out different. Because the vision that you have, once you take the photo and you put it in the software and you edit it for what you're looking for, will all tell a very different story.
Well, it's so true. We've, in fact, we did something very similar to that, and at uni, at one of our teachers there gave a camera to each member of the class. Said, go out and take a picture of that tree. Okay. And then we'll come back and then we'll develop everything afterwards. But you think, it's just a tree. Everyone's going to be the same. Yeah. But you're right. I mean, every single one is like someone might focus in on the leaf or the root or the trunk or the branches of the tree or whatever. But it is, there's infinite expressions in there. But I think, I mean, I'm just drawn naturally to the landscape work. Although we've tried, that is, you should try as much within the profession as you can. So we've tried product photography. Portraiture and all sorts,
weddings and all that sort of stuff.
Weddings, oh my god.
Okay.
So
maybe not then. Well, I mean, I think if you're doing like landscapes and versus weddings, for example, they're 2 fundamentally very different things. Landscapes are they're there. You can come back in 3 or 4 years' time and they're more than likely still going to be there. But a wedding, it's like you've got to be incredibly aware and self-aware of what's going on. And that,
for sure.
Dealing with people.
And I've got that hospitality background, but I'm afraid I just can't. I've tried a couple of weddings, and although I was fortunate enough to do them for friends, they were very pressurized. You've got to get those shots. I've got a great admiration for wedding photographers.
How much
they
patience.
Do it. Oh, mate.
Dealing with people on such an incredibly stressful day. It's like nothing's going right. Sorry, I don't mean to stereotype, but nothing goes right. Everything's going wrong. pressure, everyone's heightened. You need to get the best man or the maid of honour looking in this particular way, and then we've got the shots, the wedding shots afterwards, and
there's always drunk Uncle Fred or whatever that.
Yes, drunk Uncle Fred, yeah.
I take photos, and I've taken a couple in my time.
I've got some shit on my phone. It's really good. You should have this stuff. He's the expert.
Yeah, there's a lot of that.
Yeah. Now we were talking before. You've got one interesting thing coming up in Easter.
Yeah.
But then you've also alluded to something else that. I'll be honest, sounds absolutely fascinating. So let's cover the Easter thing first.
Yeah, sure. The Easter thing is the Arts Trail.
Yes.
So most every year I've exhibited there, and it's the Whangarei Heads Arts Trail, and 60 artists. There's an amazing amount of artists in the Whangarei Heads.
That's crazy, 60 people.
Oh, plus.
Wow.
Yeah. I think they're the ones that just exhibit. But there's many.
I feel like I need to drive out there and just put a business card in each letterbox and say, have a look.
Yeah.
Be involved.
Yeah.
Okay, so how long does the Whangarei Heads Trail, Arts Trail go for?
Yeah, it's the Saturday and the Sunday over Easter. We set up at on the Friday, and generally, there's 3 or 4 of the halls out there that are used by groups of artists, and then individual artists open up their homes as well.
Wow.
So it's good for a nosy.
Yep.
A
bit of a look around.
How do artists live?
Mm-hmm. A lot of preconceptions out there.
Yeah. There's some quite surprising answers there too.
Mm-hmm.
And
I can imagine.
Some great talent, wonderful people out there, and that's been going for a while now, and I've maybe 10 years, and it's current guys, and it's good fun, and a great way to get your work out there.
Yeah,
too.
I imagine it would be really, because it always pops up. In the calendars, it pops up in the papers and on Facebook and all of those sorts of things. It is very well known and very well respected, I would say.
Yeah, it is good, and it's always getting bigger. I mean, Creative Northland are sort of involved in running it to a high degree now. So
nice.
It's getting bigger, and it will continue to do so. But it is a good. I mean, I started off there. It's one of my first avenues to show work,
Okay, yeah.
And it does give new and emerging artists the chance to show their work and
definitely
start to go, can I sell? Because they say, if you can sell art in Whangarei, you can sell it anywhere.
Right, but like that.
That's what they used to say. I don't know if it's the same now, but it is a good proving ground there.
Definitely. I mean, I've been living in Whangarei now for just over 7 years, and I love going to Rayburn House.
Yeah.
That place is amazing.
What a resource.
A piece up there, and I think I got a couple of pieces inside
great.
As well. Yeah, just some. It's amazing to see the pure breadth of talent that we've got locally, and obviously that inspires what we do. Now, what's this other one you've got?
Yeah,
because that's now obviously it's not set in stone, but it is something that is very cool and something I think we should celebrate.
Yeah. Oh, I don't. Yeah.
You don't have to talk about it if you don't want to.
Oh, I
won't put the pressure on you.
Now we're building it up.
The thing is, we can say it's an amazing opportunity that's overseas.
Yeah.
That may or may not happen because it's still up in the air. But
we're just kind of feeling our way a little bit.
That's the thing. It's in the feel out stage. But I think if that project does go ahead, we would love to have you back on.
Yeah. Oh, that'd be cool.
Just to talk about that, either just before or just after. Because having people from little old Northland hit the international stage, we'll always celebrate that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Nice,
and that's very, very cool. Alan, thank you so much for coming in and sitting down with us, man. I really appreciate this.
Hey, it's my pleasure.
This was cool, and I'm glad that I was able to actually remember to bring out a piece of art, because, as I said, that thing is amazing.
It's so good to see it out, it's so good to see it out there.
Yes, someone's got it.
Yeah.
Yes. So thank you very much for coming in. I appreciate it.
Pleasure. Lovely.
Well, there you go, everyone. Alan Squires, man, what a, so cool, so chilled, so laid back, just a genuinely nice guy. And this podcast is the first podcast that we're recording in 2023. It's going to come out sort of around end of Jan, start of Feb. Just such a cool guy. He came in and he'd had a look at a couple of podcasts, and he was he was like, okay, cool, yeah, I know what you're about. I kind of know what I'm in for. So let's sit down and do this. And I'm gonna go to that camera. Nice guy. Some of the big takeaways from me out of the podcast, that he talks about how when he first came into Whangarei, that he felt that a lot of the landmarks that we have weren't celebrated or highlighted in a way that he felt that they should be. And he's literally gotten out there with his camera and he's taken those shots that have celebrated Northland as a whole, having a base in Whangarei and then sort of going out and taking different photos around Northland. Because let's be honest, Northland is a pretty amazing place with some absolutely beautiful sights. I love the beaches. I think they're phenomenal. Definitely top 5 beaches throughout New Zealand. Just amazing. So where can you, the listener or viewer of the podcast, find us? Well, you can check us out on the video, our socials. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube at Northland Artists Conversation. You can find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Google Podcasts for audio at Northland Artists Conversation. And if you're an artist who's not on our radar, and you would like to be involved, we would love to have you. Or if you know someone who would be a cool guest for us to have, email us. And you can reach us at hello@northlandartistsconversation.co.nz. Super simple, super simple. We've also got a Patreon as well if you want to donate and support the podcast. Very much appreciated. It would be super cool. What Patreon is, it's a way to give back to the podcast and help us continue to keep going. You have 2 tiers. You have your first tier, it's $5 a month. We've called that Coffee Addict. Second tier, first tier $5, cup of coffee. Second tier we have is $20 a month. That's Coffee Addict. With that tier, what you get is you get a few extra bonuses. So you get the ability to ask the guest some questions as well, and you also get a shout out on the podcast as well. So that's exactly what I'm going to do now. I'm going to shout out to our patrons. I'd like to thank Lauren Roach, who was the OG Patreon supporter. Thank you very much. And Michael Boter. Both have been guests and both have been super cool to support us. Guys, we really appreciate it, and we can't continue without you. How can you find us? Well, there's 2 different ways. You can go to www.patreon.com/Northland Artists Conversation, or go to Google, type in Patreon, that's Patreon, and in the top right-hand corner, type in Northland Artists Conversation, and you'll find us there. Super simple. So yeah, guys, it's interesting. 2023 has definitely got a really good vibe about it. And really looking forward to see what comes out. NAC team, thank you so much for being amazing. We've all continued to work over the holidays, which has been cool. Admittedly at a slightly less capacity because, let's be honest, we've all had a little bit of a holiday, which we've needed. So we've all come back with 2023 and we're ready to rip into it. So I'm going to throw back to my wide. Guys, thank you so much for continuing to watch and listen to the podcast. We really appreciate your support. Remember to give these videos a like, share, and subscribe. Remember to give us a little love heart or a thumbs up on Facebook, and give us a love heart or comment on anything that we do. And on that, I will see you guys real soon.